Hi friends and welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Tiffany and I'm the International Witch. I had a viewer recently ask me to show my altar, and so I thought today would be a good day to go around and just discuss altars in general and the different types and why they are necessary and the foundations of all witchcraft. So first off, witchcraft is the use and manipulation of energies around us to succeed in a specific outcome that we desire. So an altar in your home is a spot of power that you intentionally put into your home. And these can come in various different forms. Now, when you think of an altar, you're probably conjuring images of the big, elaborate Pinterest and Instagram worthy altars that we see on a daily basis. But actually, I would suggest starting small and simple, because one of the most important things about an altar is keeping it clean and maintained. And the larger and more elaborate your altar is, the more difficult that process becomes. And I don't know about you, but I hate cleaning. So the less cleaning I have to do, the better. Now, if you really want those big elaborate altars and you have room for them, by all means, go right ahead. An altar is for you and exactly what you want and you need. But if you're working with ancestors or deities or spirits, they can be offended if you let their altar space get too dirty or messy. So keep that in mind. It will have to be cleaned. Now, when you walk into my home, one of the first things you'll see is I have a bowl of salt next to my door, and that is to absorb any negative energy that is entering into my home. I try to make it a habit at least monthly to wash down my door trim, my door seals, and my window seals, but having little spots of salt around your home can help absorb some of that negativity. And right next to that, I have my money jar. And why do I have that by my front door? Well, because that's normally where you drop your change out of your pockets when you come home from work. Now, with all altars, it's very important that you give some energy to these powerful objects as much as you can. You need to interact with them. So whenever I come in, I always make sure to rub my hands on my money jar and thank it for working so hard for my home. Same with my salt bowl. I like to pass my hand over my salt bowl so it can absorb some negativity from me, and also so that I can give some energy back to it. If you're interested in seeing how I made my money jar, I have an in-depth tutorial over on the blog on how I did this. I'll leave a link in the description below. As I've said before, I work specifically with my ancestors, and that means I have an ancestor altar. It's just a series of shelves that I have in my living room that I have my family members who have passed away displayed up on those shelves. Having it where it is a little difficult for me. I'm constantly having to move that big chair out of the way and get out the ladder to clean it, but it's the only place that I really have room for it here. However, you don't have to have an elaborate altar. You really only need a picture and a candle, and you can use that anywhere in your home, even if you're in the closet. It's one of the easiest altars to have because everyone, Christians included, are likely to have members of their deceased family's photos around their home in memorial. So I have seen a couple of really beautiful shelves, and it's just a candle holder and you can put a picture with it. Now, I did see some with beautiful doors, and of course they were very expensive, but that got me to thinking that you can find these little jewelry boxes in a lot of thrift stores and Etsy and thrift shops online, And if you just decorate it from the inside, that would make a wonderful altar in your home for very little cost. And when someone comes over, you can easily shut the little jewelry box and no one knows what's in it. Now, another altar that will not even be looked at twice is your seasonal or holiday altar. And that's just a place where you can display things that make you think of the seasons outside or the holidays that are coming up. And all religions do this. Even those tiny little Christmas villages you see, that is a seasonal altar. You don't think of it that way. It's all in the intention behind it. If looking at something makes you think of the season, then that's a seasonal altar. You can put whatever you want on it. The key word is intention. Now, you all saw me put together my kitchen witch altar. I'll leave a link somewhere above where you can watch that again if you want. But so I'm not a kitchen witch, but if you're a kitchen witch, then your altar may be in the kitchen, your working altar. And I say a working altar because normally there's two different kinds of altars. There is your working altar where you actually perform your witchcraft, you do your spells, you put together ingredients, and then there is more of a reflective meditative altar. And those are more of your ancestral altar, your seasonal altar. These are altars where it makes you mentally think and pause in your life. That's a meditative altar. For me, I'm not a kitchen witch, so my altar is more meditative. I love to come in whenever I'm doing the dishes or I'm cooking, and I'll light a candle and burn some incense there. I'm not doing any spell work, but it does help me remind myself of how lucky and how blessed I am to be able to cook. I hate cooking, which is why I'm not a kitchen witch. But whenever I take a moment and I tell myself, I am so lucky to have running water. I'm so lucky to have a stove that I can easily control the temperature. I'm lucky to have clean water that I can drink and food that I can provide for my family. It's that reminder to be grateful. And that's what I use my kitchen altar for. Once again, your altar can be as elaborate as you want it to be. And if you're a kitchen witch, I love seeing all the altars in the kitchen on their countertops. It's wonderful and beautiful. Same with the bathroom. For me, personally, the bathroom is a place where I go to purify myself and look beautiful and do beauty magic. So I put together an altar, very simple. I put some pictures together to make a background. Here I'm walking you step by step of every little bit I did to make my bathroom altar. I'll leave a timestamp below if you just want to skip this part. I couldn't find who painted the image in the center, and now looking at it, I kind of think it may have been AI, but I'm not 100%. This image, whenever I'm done, I'm going to upload it onto my blog in the grimoire section. So if you have the password for my grimoire, then you will be able to print this out and use it too if you want. If you don't already have the password for my grimoire section, all you have to do is navigate to the home page. I'll have a link to the blog below, and you sign up for my newsletter. I don't actually send random crap to your email, so you don't have to worry about that. But when you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get an email with the code, and you just go up to the grimoire section of my page and enter that code, and you'll have access to all of my printables. And that includes grimoire pages and bullet journals and special projects like this. All I ask is that you please don't pin anything to Pinterest that is in my password protected site. Because this image is 13 inches by 16 inches, that's obviously too large for me to print out on my printer. So instead, I printed it up in separate chunks, and I made sure that the center image was one page so I wouldn't have any creases there. And I'm going to use regular Mod Podge matte to secure it to a piece of foam core, and I'm going to use the dishwasher safe Mod Podge on top at the very end to seal everything and make sure that it's waterproof, because this is going in a bathroom and I want to make sure that the moisture isn't going to damage it. Once this had dried, I took it over to my cutting board and cut it, and now I'm going to use that dishwasher safe Mod Podge to especially go around the edges. This is foam core, so I don't want any water to sit in and mold. The bathroom that this is going in is very, very tiny, and yes, I do have to do the Dr. Zoidberg crab walk to get to the toilet. I included deities that reflect the archetypes. I have a little figurine of hygiene, and I have a figurine of Venus. These are places for me to remind myself to focus in my energies on exactly what I need that space to be for me. In the bedroom, I have a love altar. I have it right next to my bed, and I keep a figurine of a couple embraced, rose quartz, and a picture of my husband and I. Yes, I do cover his face to protect his privacy. That's all that you really need to have a love altar in your bedroom. I would suggest not putting pictures of your ancestors and doing an ancestral altar in your bedroom, only because, well, Grandpa doesn't need to see you getting it on. If the bedroom is the only place you have, then I would suggest making your altar in a way that can be closed when you have company, so that your ancestors don't have to watch that. Also, I would suggest not doing a crystal grid in your bedroom, because those energies can be a little too strong for you to go to sleep. And speaking of crystal grids are a wonderful beginner-friendly idea for all witches that I would suggest looking into. It doesn't take much to set one up. As a matter of fact, you can print a crystal grid out online and just use small crystals. You can use crystal chips and arrange it in a way that magnifies your central crystal. For me, I just have simple clear quartz points that shoot the energy out from the central crystal, magnifying it. And I like to keep that next to my desk as a energetic, motivating, keep me focused kind of energy. And there is so many websites that go so in depth on crystal grids. I won't do that here, but I definitely think it's one of the cheapest and easiest ways for a witch to amplify certain energies around their home. Now, as for my personal working altar, as I've said before, I am not in America right now. I am living in Italy and I am renting, which means I am probably going to have my landlord come into my home a couple of times. And I don't want to offend him. I don't know how he feels about witchcraft. Italy as a whole is a Catholic nation. So as for me, I needed a way that I could hide it. So I got kind of creative. My altar is actually on a food tray. It's a simple one that I got from Home Goods years ago. But what I love about this is that I can tuck it neatly under the bed when I'm not using it. And when I do need it, I can pull it out and take it anywhere I want. I can set it up on the dining room table if I need a lot of space to work. Or I can set it up near my ancestral altar if I'm specifically going to be asking for their help in a spell. I hope you've had fun coming along with me today, and I hope you leave today with some inspiration and some ideas that you can incorporate into your own practice. I would love to hear all your ideas down in the comments below. Is there anything that you haven't thought of that maybe you might incorporate now? Just leave me a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Every comment, every thumbs up that you give me tells YouTube that this is a good video and should show it to more people. So I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for everyone who has watched. Big hugs. Bye.